Okay, so welcome to today's interview. Today I have got the wonderful Zopa here to talk to us about his journey recovering using the program Reset to Thrive and Jan's wonderful book. I'm Nicole Buffoni or Nikki, and I'm Jan's partner in crime. And yeah, delighted to be chatting to you today, Zopa. So
Happy to
welcome.
be here. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
my
Such an
pleasure.
important idea, I think, to share our different stories because I think people get so much out of these interviews.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about yourself and I guess how this all started for you?
It goes back to the spring of 2011. I spent a couple of occasions just feeling dead tired and, doing the lazy boy thing for 48 hours, and I was fortunate I could do that and asked the doctors, obviously, they said there's nothing wrong, blah, blah, blah. And so this would happen occasionally, and then gradually, um, I went to the UK in 2012 for 6 months on training to become a Buddhist teacher. And while I was there at that site, it's vegetarian diet, and I thought like I was getting weaker, and so you need protein. So I'd go into town and get protein, but still I'd be hungry and these symptoms would come up and I'd be hungry for no reason. I shouldn't have been hungry. And then started getting sleep issues. And so it was a time from 2011 to 2016 where I didn't know what was going on. So there's a lot of insecurity, trying to understand, reading books, researching, doctors telling me there's nothing wrong. Until finally in 2016, in the summer, when I went back to the UK for about 5 weeks of training there, I totally crashed.
Yeah.
Like I landed after the flight, and it took me a week. I was sleeping all the time, and my roommate said, "It's not jet lag, Zopa." I wanted to believe it was jet lag. So
Mm.
jet lag doesn't last that long. And I tried to stick it out, went back to Ottawa where I was teaching Buddhism, and I had to just let it go. I had no choice. I was totally dumbfounded. Uh, Brain fog, low energy, heavy legs. Sleep was affected by then. I've always been a good sleeper, so that was like, what's going on, and my digestion as well. So I had to stop working. I tried again in January of 2017 to teach again, but and I didn't want to give up. But we were a team there, and the teammate said, "Zopa, you're not able to do this. There's something wrong."
Yeah.
So I finally gave in and said, "Yeah, there's something wrong." And um, then the source was identified. I had parasites, which I
Um,
think I got when I went to Brazil again for Buddhism in 2010. See, I fall of 2010, spring of 2011, because I would have a huge breakfast and be hungry an hour and a half later. Didn't make sense. And like really hungry and
yeah.
weak during
Yeah.
meditation and prayers. Perfect time. So I totally stopped and actually went to live with my father for a while. And then he was getting old. I was caring for him a little bit. I said, oh boy, I'm not going to heal here if I continue. So I left and went to various places and finally wound up here in Toronto in 2019. And with COVID, it wasn't really, isolation was not really a problem. I was used to being housebound and almost bedbound. And yeah, so it was a tough time. It was a
Yeah.
tough time with the symptoms. And I was 54 when it started, like the fur in 2011. So I spent my life like being, very active, studying, having a strong, rational mind, and everything crumbled.
Yeah. So, did they treat the parasite and that alleviate anything, or you
Yeah,
found that that
yeah,
wasn't? Yeah.
yeah. It treated the parasite, and I felt better, and I went, "Oh, great, this is cured."
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It
No.
wasn't. I was able to, surprising at the last minute, to fly home for Christmas. I was almost, the morning of, I go, oh, I can go. So I went,
Yeah.
and I came back from that, and I wasn't too bad. But the nervous system had already kicked in to being in fight or flight all the time. So, despite the parasites being removed, I'd gone 5 years, basically 5.5 years of not knowing what was going on. And so, yeah,
And so, how did it affect you, like emotionally, socially?
yeah. The isolation part was fairly easy. I can be a loner if I need to be. And actually, reached a comfort zone of activity, like afraid to expand my activity. I noticed that in the program. And I had a few moments of discouragement, a half a day here, a couple of days there, because of my spiritual practice.
Yeah.
My spiritual practice was my strength. I Suffering is part of life. So there was none of this why me and I'm useless. And, there was some, but not to, I just, people were going, you're amazing, Zopa, like
Mhm.
smiling and joking when I had energy. And yeah, but I had my moments, but not too many, not too many.
Yeah. And it sounds
Yeah.
like you had some people around you that understood and
Yeah.
were reflecting back to you, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I live in what's called the Dharma house. Dharma is Buddhist teachings,
Yeah.
and we're seven in the house. And, they were able to help me. At one point, when I was almost bedridden, someone did cook for me at times when I needed to have that, do my housework, do my laundry. So I got help for that because I needed it.
That's
I needed
amazing.
it. Yeah. And then in 2020, after COVID started in December 2020, I called my doctor, and I was lying in a zero gravity chair, those,
Yeah.
and my heart rate wasn't slowing down. It was 100, 110. It was just not slowing down. It took
Yeah.
hours. And so I called him and I cried on the phone there. I said, you have to do something, like, this is not what's going on. So
Yeah.
he says, my father's a very smart man. I'll refer you to him. And little did I know, his father in the same clinic works with people with CFS and chronic illness.
Okay.
And he's an elderly doctor, but he's still practicing and very wise. And he
Yeah.
prescribes things that you're not supposed to prescribe, according. And so, yeah, and that really helped. And that was the start of having hope again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gave you the diagnosis and,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, pointed you
Yeah.
in the right direction.
Yeah. And he pointed me to brain retraining programs. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, 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 he did.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very forward-thinking doctor for
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
healing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I even took ivermectin, if you've heard of ivermectin.
I haven't, no.
Yeah. Well, it was in the news because it was a cure or a drug for COVID, which was controversial,
Right.
but should be used. But it's cheap, so the pharmaceutical companies wanted to do something else.
Of course.
You may you may
So
cut this out. I don't know, but
so did it help you at all?
yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah, it gives energy.
Interesting, interesting. So
Yeah.
um what actually drove you or sparked your interest to join Reset to Thrive? What
Okay.
take
So
that?
I did two programs before that. I won't mention them, but
Yeah,
good programs. It's just you know it didn't work out. And then I saw Jan's interview on Rail and Eagle's channel,
yeah,
and I love that. I just went, okay. So I bought the audiobook and the ebook so I could work with both.
yeah,
That was in December of 2023. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And in early 2024, I go, I wanted to take time to think about it and to see, because, I hadn't really committed to the previous two and didn't fit. And then I woke up one morning and I went, yep, this is it. I knew I would commit. I knew I would do it and
Yeah,
that I believed in it. So I bought the program. Yeah.
that's so good. And tell me
Yeah.
what in the program or from wherever, what made the biggest difference? Like what tools worked for you?
Yeah. Well, what I liked about the program is it's part of life. It's not like taped on something extra. It's something you do with life,
Yeah.
which is what Buddhism is about as well. So, it totally fit in with my Buddhist practice. And, it's, oh, you do something different when you have sensations or symptoms. I like to call them sensations. So you do something different and it's part of your life. And you develop new habits, and those new habits help you to get back to thriving mode. They just naturally, the green sprouts are there, as we know, and they grow. And because we're creating the conditions to heal, which I wasn't doing before that.
Yeah.
You know? And I really like the fearless acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my main practice. The traffic lights. I always want to say stop process because others use that, but Jan calls it the traffic lights.
Yeah.
I never really used that much. It's
Ah,
funny,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
But after I realized I did. I didn't do like in Buddhism, you stop your negative thoughts.
Yes.
So I was doing that.
You were
So
already doing it. You were already
yeah,
using your
just
own
not in the
traffic
structured
lights.
way,
Yeah.
that Jan teaches. This is
Yeah.
very similar to Buddhism. Oh, I have anger. Okay, that's useless. What am I going
Yeah.
to do with that? No, anger is
Yeah.
not useful.
Yeah.
So, and that's, red, amber, green is very similar. So,
Very similar. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And did you have moments along the way where you had some big aha moments or, yeah, moments
Oh,
that kind of
yeah.
made a big
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah. You need them on the way. You need to notice them. And the program is built for you to notice, even the tiny ones. But the
Yeah.
bigger ones, I would say late spring this year when I was on the Nearly There group with Jan,
Yes.
because we were
Yes.
nearly there.
You were
And
nearly
I
there.
went out instead of like I was starting to quote unquote crash or feel heavy sensations early in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And instead of giving into that, I go, oh, I'll go sit on the porch, on the stairs. It's sunny. And as I was sitting there, I went, what if this is just a Pavlovian reaction? It's not necessary. Yeah, you've had a busy morning, but we can let it go. And I
Yeah.
sat there for 15 minutes and I got up and I went, oh, there you go. It's gone. So it's just like, oh, okay. And I continue with my day.
Yeah.
And I went, yep, this is what it's about. And my buddy said, you reset the switch. It's on and off, right? You get to almost to a point where you can do that after you've trained in the methods you know. And then recently, uh, I went to see my father quite often because he passed away on Monday morning.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, that's fine. It's good. My spiritual practice has helped me so much with that. It's
You're
amazing.
amazing being here today with that. You could have
Yeah.
postponed. Oh, bless.
No, no, no. And so on this past Sunday, my brother from another town who hadn't been there phoned to say, I'm going to see my dad, going to see dad. And intuitively, I'd been busy that morning. I'd gone out for breakfast. I went to the temple for a teaching. These are all new things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I live 500 meters from the temple, but I haven't been going. Now I'm
Yeah.
going. And
Yeah.
I'm walking back from the temple and going, okay, I'm probably going to rest when I get home a little bit. And my phone dings. And, so I learned that my brother's going to see my dad. And we haven't had much contact. And that's all right. I should go. I should go. And then I called my other brother who lives in the same town where my father was. He says, yeah, good idea. So all three brothers got together with my dad less than 48 hours before he passed.
Mm,
Yeah. So it was very nice to do that. And I was thinking after, you're doing things spontaneously. You don't think, oh no, am I going to crash? Is this okay? I just did it, you
yeah.
know. And then the night after, Sunday night, I had a really lousy night's sleep, 6 hours, not very good sleep. And then I had a rental car there for a while because I went to see my dad. And I'm driving the rental car and I'm feeling really tired. And
Yeah.
I go, oh yeah, but when I was healthy, if I slept like this, I'd be tired like I am now. This is
Yeah.
normal. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. And
Yeah.
I lasted the day and I had a good night's sleep. And Tuesday morning, I was waking up real well and I got the news that my father passed. So, and this fall, I've now booked. I'm going to 2 weeks away for another Buddhist festival that I wanted to attend, and it
Yeah.
involves a flight and everything, 4 hour flight, and so I'm living my life. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, amazing. It is.
I I think yeah, for me personally, understanding crashes not being devastating, that was like a real shift for me. And it sounds like you're having a similar experience where you're
Yeah,
able to
yeah,
change that mindset from
yeah. To
devastation.
reframe it, or yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so at what point then did you think I'm definitely on the recovery track? Like what was that shift like for you? When was that moment?
When to think that I was on the recovery track,
Yeah.
um, I would say I'm not doing it anymore. And I'll explain why. I was doing a graph of the number of minutes I was active each day and the
Mhm.
number of steps. And I stopped in June because I said, people who live their lives, they don't have these graphs. So out with the graph because I'm living my life.
On
But
with life. I love it.
because it was upward, and I think
Yeah.
she has an example of the graph in the book, right? Something about nothing is in a straight line. That's exactly my graph. That's not in a straight line, but the trend was upward,
Yeah.
gradually, from January 2024 up till today.
Yeah. So were you recovered, do you
Oh
think?
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yay.
And I'm recovered, and my body's catching up,
Yeah.
and I'm leaving it open because I was 53, 54 when it started. I
Yeah.
was 59 when it really hit me. I'm going to be 68 next week.
Wow.
So where I wind up in that recovered, what level of activity I'll accept, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely living a life that people would say there's nothing wrong with you. Just how
Brilliant.
high I'll go, what I'll be able to do cognitively, physically,
Yeah.
I'll see. But I'm leaving it open to thriving until age 95. We'll see.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So,
Yeah.
Zopa, if you had to give advice to someone who's watching this and they're struggling with long COVID or chronic fatigue syndrome, what would be your main kind of takeaway? What advice would you give them?
Yeah. To commit to a program that suits their needs. Commit and
Commit.
take the time. That's what I did. The third time around, three strikes, you're out. And to just find something that suits you, commit to it. And if you commit, I mean, there's brain retraining programs galore now. And why? Because it works. And they all have different ways of doing that. And, if someone asked me privately, I would explain why some of those things affected me in the first two that I chose. But I think if I committed to either one, they probably would have worked, right? So committing to something that you believe in and doing it.
Yeah. And what helped you with that commitment, do you think? Was there anything that helped you the third time round that made it stick?
Yeah. Taking the time to see that it fit,
Yeah.
realize, oh yeah, I don't need to change my life. I don't need extra routines. I just need to do things when stuff arises,
Yeah.
you know, and watch my thoughts, which is like I do that in Buddhism all the time.
Yeah.
But like it was almost a Buddhist course for CFS,
Yeah.
and it really fit in with what I've been learning for 20 years in Buddhism. And so I took the time and then I knew. And instead of like knowing here, like when I
Yeah.
woke up that morning, I knew here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew in my heart, this is going to work. I'm going to commit, and I'll have setbacks, but I won't give up.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jan's so encouraging. You
Yeah.
kind of
Such
can't give up if you stay in contact with the webinars and stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah, the community support, I
yeah,
think, an
very much
important
so.
element to the Reset to Thrive,
Yeah.
that made the difference for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, you're obviously a very spiritual person, an enlightened person already.
Not yet.
Do you
Not
think
in
that,
our definition of enlightenment.
okay,
No.
okay.
No.
But in terms of what this experience of being sick, how has that changed you, do you think? Or has it made you assess things differently in life?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It has. Yeah. It's strengthened my spirituality to go through this. Um, I'm much better at being affirmative, giving my opinion,
Yeah.
setting boundaries, being clear, not fearing conflict, and a lot less concerned about what others might think of me or my life and trying to adjust to their opinions or anything. And there was a point, and I'll talk about this in a commitment webinar in November that I'll be giving. There was a point I could observe in my mind, like I was afraid to be determined.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I'd been so determined at the beginning, but failed,
Yeah.
you know? And so kind of had made the connection with if you're determined, you get symptoms.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and now I found the space where I can be very determined, but in a softer way, like
Mm,
less stressed about it, like
yeah.
determined to achieve my goal. But in Buddhism, we say not attached to absolutely achieving the goal, aiming
Yeah.
for it, wanting it, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And being flexible yet determined, which means putting in the strategies that I need to do to achieve my goal and doing them and being disciplined about it,
Yeah.
but a little bit cooler and a little
Yeah.
bit more chill with this
Yeah.
determination. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to do this. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah. Serenity element, I think, is crucial.
Yeah,
Focus and
yeah,
serenity together is,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And
And
a lot of people, I think, struggle with that because we've been hopeful before and we've been
yeah,
excited before and we get let down, and that
yeah,
can stop
yeah,
us
yeah,
continuing.
yeah. Hoping beyond hope.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. So if people are in a really kind of dark place with this right now and they're kind of looking out at different programs and stuff, what sort of encouragement would you give them? What would you tell them if they're feeling uncertain?
yeah. Hmm. Work on your belief in recovery. Find a way. There's recovery stories all over the internet. Find stories to inspire you because the belief, as I'll share in the commitment webinar, is not blind faith. It's
Mm,
built on science. Jan starts with the science because of that. And it's built on trying things out and having them work. So
yeah,
it's, experience. When I tried things, when I sat on the porch, the example I gave earlier, man, this works. So then you're encouraged to continue. And so work on your belief in recovery if you find you're feeling hopeless and look for ways to increase that belief. I may talk more about that in the webinar. And align the choice of your program with your needs. Identify like what are your needs? Particularly, we may have different needs, different ways of functioning, different preferences, and that's why there's different programs. So, and look around and give yourself the time and the self-compassion. Jen speaks a lot about self-compassion, being kind to ourselves through these difficult times, and not being hard on ourselves. That's a learning thing, and the program really helps with that. But that would be my advice for people who feel stuck right now.
Yeah. And I guess some people would see this getting ill like this as a curse,
Yeah.
and some would see it as a gift. Not a maybe not a wanted gift, but
Yeah.
perhaps a
Yeah.
gift anyway. What has it given you?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, it's things I mentioned earlier there. The my spirituality is getting deeper, and being affirmative, the boundaries, all that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Is there another special gift? Well, I got to meet very, very warm people like yourself and Jan, and to be able to contribute with webinars. That was
Yeah.
fantastic. And also to be able to say no to more involvement than what I'm involved in now.
Yeah.
Knowing in my heart that that's what I want to give, and I want to leave room in my life for more Buddhism and returning to the temple and helping the community there.
Yeah.
So
I
some
love
equilibrium there, and being totally okay with that. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Is that a new so that's new, do you think, for
yeah,
you?
yeah. I
Yeah.
would have been more sensitive to, oh, what will Jen and Nicole think, and
Yeah.
you know, are they going to be okay, and maybe I should help more. And it's just like, no, this is what I can do. This is what I want to do. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I
yeah,
love that
that's
so
new.
much. You've shared so many brilliant nuggets of wisdom, Zopa. I really appreciate it and highly recommend if people are already in the program to check out Zopa's webinars. They're brilliant. And also, you'll be doing a peer support group
Yeah,
in
in
November.
November 11th, it starts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Six
so
weeks before Christmas, 6 weeks after Christmas. Yeah.
beautiful. That'll be
Yeah.
so good. So if people are interested, do check that out. And yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Zopa. It's been lovely.
Oh, thank you, Nicole.